It is Friday. It's the final episode of the week. It is Red Sox Now with your host. Oh, it's me, Mike Antonellis. Thanks for joining me. It's presented by Fan Arch here on YouTube. Before we you know the drill. We want you to subscribe by hitting the subscribe channel. We want you to make comments by making comments. We try to read ones from different people. It would have been nice if I did a database of comments, but I did not. But I can almost remember the new ones, and we're getting a lot of new people, and I couldn't be more thankful. The comments are fantastic. We've had a great week of shows, and all of you are awesome. Rocking the Portland Sea Dogs, state of Maine today. We talked socks this week because they said getting low is like getting socks from your grandmother. I said, well, let's show socks. I like the graphic ones. Okay. This I got from the Baseball Ism store. I think that's how you say it in Atlanta. That's a scorebook. Nerd. Big time nerd. Scorebook socks. I wear them on opening day as a broadcaster. I've been doing that for the last 5-6 years. All right, we will get to the game in just a minute. Good stuff. I was at Polar Park last night for a doubleheader on radio for both. We'll get to the Jolstinson is the way he likes to say it. The password is in New York. I was there. I saw him leave. It was pretty cool. Shame on all of you. I put on the comments on yesterday's show, more moves are coming before it was official. I couldn't tell you what the move was. I already knew what it was because we get our lineups on a group text. We get them early so we can prepare. And this happened a few days ago with David Hamilton. He was scratched, and I go, oh, he's going up. And then we had already received 2 lineups. And Garcia was in both. And then we got new lineups, and he wasn't in. And then the group text was pretty funny with people putting eyeballs, and the comments were funny. So we kind of knew what was going on. And this happened, I think, 2-ish. And it was just a bolt of excitement and energy being there. And if you guys can, it was all over social media. We recorded the password getting called up, being told by his manager. So good stuff. I had the game on. Thanks to technology. I watched the Sox pretty much, came home, watched the rest of it. Excellent night. Again, before we go further, subscribe. Follow me on X, TikTok. A lot of you follow me on X, and I'm seeing you now on TikTok and my Instagram, Facebook, you name it. If you want to be involved, I will accept as long as you're nice. You got to be nice. You can be a little, crazy sometimes. You're just kidding. All right. The game was fantastic. Wasn't it? The bolt of energy and excitement for Red Sox Yankees on a Thursday night. I still think there's something that exists. Think about this. They've been playing forever, and they've gone through some things that they'll never be able to replicate. You can never replicate the 04, 03 with Aaron Boone. And then 04, you beat them down 3-0. Like, those things are going to be very hard to replicate. All that stuff with Pedro and Zimmer and all that. So I look at it like this. In anything, there's a ceiling, right? TV shows you get sick of after a while. They have to cancel it. They close it out. Movies, sometimes the sequels. Okay, we've had enough. We've had enough of Friday the 13th. I haven't. I'm a big horror movie fan. But you get my point? That's why I don't get into this ratings thing. Like, fans are obsessed with sporting event ratings. Seriously, who cares? If the NFL is down a little bit, they're still getting this amazing amount of people that watch their TV show more. Now, I will say with baseball, their ratings are really good this year, which is showing more people are watching. But if they go down a little bit next year, it's still going to be a lot of people watching. And a lot of people were watching that game last night. The ratings, I already heard, were through the roof. Sox Yankees, that's non-Sox Yankee fans. So there's still something that lives and will always live. And I know as a fan, there's something for me watching that game last night, even in a newer ballpark, and seeing the pinstripes. It's just, it's still there. It's still there. And the game was epic. It really was. The Yankees, and I didn't realize they were having this much of an issue with defense. 4 errors. They walked 9. We'll get to this. The Red Sox had so many opportunities. But the guy that looks like he could play Ted Williams in a Ted Williams movie in his first game at Yankee Stadium goes 2 for 5 and an absolute bomb. What a beautiful freaking swing in the 9th inning. Again, I did this is a topic on one of the podcasts. I still think what he is doing, Roman Anthony, is still somewhat underrated considering all of this. The age, he pretty much replaced Devers. He's in a pennant race. He's batting top of the order pretty much the whole time. He had to play right field. He gets all that money. He is the guy. And it is pretty amazing how quick it's happening. I said, I mean, we all said it. He's a superstar in the making. We said it in the minors. But, you know, you still hold your breath a little bit, and it took a few games. This is just incredible what he's doing. 3 RBIs. It just, you know, and he showed a little emotion there in the 9th with the bat flip and just kind of that stand back. But I know we get down on things, but we should really appreciate that we could have a player here that's really damn special, that could go down. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I know. But in baseball, you can kind of see it sometimes. That's how I felt with Mookie right away. This is pretty special. It really is. And, boy, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this. You know, like, it kind of goes with Tom Brady. I don't expect that to happen again, and I appreciate it every second because I grew up with the Patriots were horrible. And this kind of he kind of reminds me of that same type of mindset player. And Brady succeeded so early, and I remember saying, well, geez, I mean, this isn't going to be that hard for him anymore. And it will be for Anthony. Baseball is a little bit different, but still, the tests he passes already put him up here. Like, you know, Bregman's saying he's the best hitter on the team. I mean, you could argue that. That's a legit argument. Incredible. Nathaniel Lowe is huge, already making an impact, batting 5th. You need that. I know he only had 1 hit, but it was an RBI double, and he knocked in a run with a sac fly. So you get, that's the production you want. Professional at bat, lifting the ball, getting an RBI. And their top guys in their lineups all had hits. I like David Hamilton. I know him in the minority. I just, here's my take on David Hamilton. And I know I'll get killed for this, and I honestly don't care. And I talked about this with the guys last night, including J.P. Ricciardi, and he agreed with me. You can be more critical of carrying young guys on the bench. What they asked David Hamilton to do at times this year, the first part when he was called up and not play, it just doesn't work a lot for younger players. They need to play. He comes right down to AAA, and he's hitting out of his mind. He's the best player on the diamond when he was sent back down. He's a guy that needs to play. Awful pickoff. Yeah, I agree. But 2 more walks. He had an infield hit and ended up scoring a run on that. And on that error by Goldschmidt late, you could just see he was pretty much on top of the pitcher. And I'm telling you, that distracted Goldschmidt just for a little bit, and he reaches base and ends up scoring on the home run. He impacted the game. He impacts the game a lot. Now, if he plays a lot and continues not to hit, all the criticism was warranted. But I think there's more in the tank with him when he plays a lot. And when you look at some of the runs he had this year when he played 3 or 4 games in a row, he was pretty good. He's essentially replacing, for me, Toro, right? Because Lowe right now is replacing, that's how I look at it. Lowe's replacing Abreu, or you could say Yoshida, and Hamilton's in there for Toro. So I don't mind that because of the speed upside and the game-changing speed he has. The pickoff cannot happen. That's awful. But he did have his 18th stolen base. Think of that. 18 steals. Rafael has 19. Let's get to the pitching. Fantastic, right? How many times have we seen this? We still get comments about the bullpen. I still really don't understand what a lot of you are watching at times. I understand like the low leverage. We talked about that. But how many times have you seen last night? I have to look this up now, and I did not do this today, and I apologize. I don't think many of you get how hard it is when your starter goes less than 5 innings to piece that together on the road and not allow a run. And how many times have they done that? At least 10. Maybe that's not right. It's been a lot. Wilson, Weissert, Matz, Whitlock, Chapman, your guys. And I know Wilson came in and walked a couple and allowed an inherited runner to score. It's going to happen. Matz was huge. Huge. The strikeout, getting Goldschmidt left on right, and then Whitlock and Chapman, perfect. I don't see, and the reason I say this is that you would not be in this spot without those kind of arms. Well, Whitlock, Chapman, Weissert, Justin Wilson. I mean, they're all having really good years. You're not at the table here in the wild card contention without that. So, yes, the bullpen certainly will have some blips, but I just don't think you understand the gravity of what they're asked to do at times. And I just think we take it for granted. And we were talking about it last night. You get just Slayton back, and it's Chapman, Slayton, Whitlock, Matz, Weissert, Wilson. That is 6. And what else they're going to do? You're not going to have anybody. You know, Hicks might be the mop-up guy, and maybe they won't keep him at some point. You're going to have 6 or 7 guys that you trust. Yankees bullpen last night went 4 innings. They gave up 6 hits. They walked 4. And they gave up 4 runs. 2 earned, but, I mean, I definitely have to look that up. I know it's happened with Buehler a ton, where he's not gone 5. That is really hard to do in the big leagues. So is this. 3 for 19 with runners in scoring position. Still a problem with clutch hits, yes. But what did you see in that game last night? That just one, I mean, one hit can do it. And it was a home run. But even before the home run, they were 1 hit away a couple times breaking that game open. Bases loaded a lot again. That is, I think they're 0 for their last 9 with the bases loaded. No doubt that's a problem. That's a lingering problem right now in a short period of time that if, you know, and Lou and Will were talking about it last night, that can't continue. We all know that. But that is unbelievable. Plus, I kind of look at it on the half full side. That's a lot of base runners in scoring position. Bregman had 3 more hits. You know, you had a good night offensively. You had 19 base runners, and you went 3 for 19 with runners in scoring position. You left 14. So that stuff needs to be cleaned up. We know, but, you know, there was some parts of that game where I do give the Yankees credit, though. I thought some of their pitchers made in those situations, and so I thought they made some pretty good pitches. You only struck out 5 times. But obviously 3 for 19 is crazy. A win's a win. I'll take it. But, yes, that is stuff that we certainly don't want to see continue. The Red Sox, with the win, are a half game behind the Yankees now for the top wildcard spot, which you want because you get the host. Seattle has had a real bad run here. They've lost 5 in a row, 7 of 10. They get the Athletics tonight. But they're in a little bit of a tailspin. Kansas City's playing a lot better. They've won 8 of 10. They're 2 behind Seattle. That's 2 legit games, not 2 in the loss column. And Cleveland's 3 back. So that's it for me. I don't think Texas at 5.5 back. They're done. Kansas City is at Detroit tonight, and Cleveland is at Texas. So those are big games. And The Red Sox, we talked about this stretch getting a split of the 8 games. Maybe it's a little bit better. You got Bayo and Crochet in the next 2, free tonight, who they've handled. But, man, if you could steal this one tonight with Crochet tomorrow. I know baseball doesn't work that way. All right, before we go any further, though, we have to wish Carl Yastrzemski a happy birthday. Now, I know this because it's my parents' anniversary. And J.P. Ricciardi said last night, only the true baseball whack jobs would remember a birthday of Yaz. So, Captain Carl, it's his birthday. Happy birthday to Captain Carl. All right, now it was pretty cool last night being at Polar Park with Garcia getting called up. The password, don't change your password to Joe Stinson. I said on TV a couple of weeks ago, my biggest fear is that when Garcia gets called up, that everyone's password will be his first name. But please don't do it. He's got a younger brother who they call the username, which is pretty cool. So Fitz in the password highlight moves. There were tons of moves. So many that I need to take a sip of my coffee here. So Joe Stinson's going to play on Friday night. Alex Cora said that. He's going to play against Fried. Looking forward to that. I'll tell you the one thing that really helped him get to the big leagues. Our manager talked about this. Alex Cora talked about this. He is a very good defensive player. And had he not been good, I don't think he would be in the big leagues. At this point, what you're looking for, right? You got to be, you're in a pennant race. You can't look at potential and upside and the defense they trust. And his arm in right field is going to be crazy because I think that's where he'll play. He has a plus arm. He can play all 3 outfield spots at a very high level. He's a really good center fielder. He's got a Manny type of follow through. I'm telling you, when he follows through, you're going to be like, that's Manny Ramirez. He has really good jolt in that bat. A lot of chase. He's probably going to strike out tonight. Might be the first time. He chases. But what I also really love about him, and a lot of scouts have talked about, his ability to hit the ball everywhere and to shorten up. He'll take that little dunk hit to right field. He won't try to overswing. Chasing's different than overswinging. But he also has a really good ability of hitting the ball to right field. Not just a pull hitter. And that's going to play nice in that ballpark. Chris Cotillo is reporting because Alex Cora will not confirm Monday for Walker Buehler. A lot of you had asked me this about him. Cotillo said there's an outside chance. Well, not an outside chance, but there's sources saying he could be moved to the bullpen. And a lot of you had brought that up to me. I wasn't a fan of it. I don't know if I am a fan of it because I wasn't sure what the other move would be. So it's probably Richard Fitz not being a reliever. Maybe he was a reliever for last night. I don't think so. If he was going to pitch Monday, he could throw a side in a game. But if that's true, it would be interesting that they announce Fitz being a reliever and then Fitz is going to start. I get it because they don't want to let it out of the bag and they probably want to talk to Buehler. Here's how I feel about it. I don't mind older guys like this making the conversion. I think younger guys can do it too. And I talked to J.P. Ricciardi about this, and he just said, look, everybody, you can't. We were talking about Sandlin. Like not everyone takes to certain roles the way you want them to. Sandlin looked better yesterday, gave up 2 hits, struck out a couple, but you could just see the comfort level of being a reliever is not there yet with him. And JP was saying even with, someone like Walker Buehler, that can still happen at his age. But here's what they'll do. We know he throws like 7 or 8 pitches. They'll modify that big time. My only thing about it is his inability to throw strikes. That's why I like Fitz better. Buehler would obviously be a multi-inning guy, but he doesn't throw a lot of strikes right away. And when you're a reliever, you have to. And Fitz can throw strikes right away all the time. He's an instant first inning, first batter. it's like 6 or 7 strikes in a row. I like that from that kind of reliever, right? Because if you're asking a multi-inning guy, it might be in a game like this, blowout, or you're getting blowout, and you want that guy to throw strikes. So they'll do what they did with Pivetta, which they modified Pivetta big time. Took away a bunch of pitches, let him go out there. He worked mechanically. Pivetta talked about this. I could work more on my mechanics, he said, being a reliever. And I think that's something that has been an issue with Buehler. So we'll see. I don't love it if it happens. But in terms of what would be the counter move, I've liked Richard Fitz the way he's pitched as a starter. Or that's not the plan. Fitz and Buehler stay in the rotation and someone else gets called up. But I just don't see it being Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison can barely go more than 5 innings. He hasn't gone more than 5. He's just, to me, he's not ready to pitch in the big leagues. But maybe they do take that. Maybe they think he is okay. And he gets the start. And then they have Fitz and Buehler. Right? Like if you do that with Harrison, and you have Fitz and Buehler in the bullpen, then you have guys stretched out. Criswell is on the injured list. So is Grissom. We found that out yesterday. But that would be the only other move because Harrison's on the 40-man, and I don't see them calling up anyone else. So as you're watching this, it might already be told what's happening. But excited for tonight. Bayo and Fried, password, and we'll see what happens with Buehler. Let's get to your comments. We try to get to the new ones. At Chad Hamilton -T3M, this series will tell me everything I need to know about this club. Future is bright. Possibly, right? Yeah, I mean, I agree to that to a point. Yeah, if they win all 4. But I would be disappointed, say, if they won all 4 and won 3 or 4 and then lost 3 in Baltimore. So, yeah, that's why I still say, but I told a lot of you that nothing really carries over. Now, the runners in scoring position has carried over a little bit, but they played better last night. The day off, it's a grind, a chance to relax in New York, and this series instantly is better than any kind of energy drink. But, yeah, I think where I agree with you, Chad, their ability to come back with adversity, which I said yesterday, I like this in a way. You need to see them come back to reality a little bit. And this happened before. They were 30-34 going into New York. They're now 6-1 against the Yankees. At L Prof 007, got to be a James Bond fan. A 2-2 split is a W for the Sox. Anything better would be fantastic. 0-4 would be hard to come back from. Yeah, absolutely. But maybe a chance now to win 3 or 4. Next 2 starters are pretty good. There's our 2. At Croc 317, it really isn't the same rivalry as it once was. The evil empire just isn't an empire anymore. Hoping Narvaez gets enough rest and gets hot again. Way better team in position than last year. Yeah. I mean, I just think baseball goes through changes, right? I mean, the game is different in the sense of the format. The luxury tax, the extra playoff teams. It is, it is, to me, feels a little watered down expansion over the years. So, yeah, when you saw the teams of the 70s and the Yankees and the 80s and the early 2000s, yeah, it might not look the same, but the Yankees still have a lot of stars. Judge, Bellinger. They had Garrett Cole. I mean, Chisholm's a good player, but it is a little bit different. Like, we don't have like those marquee lineups that we once did, but I still think I know what you mean. Like, they're not as evil anymore. And I get that. Like, I don't know if a lot of people hate the Yankees universally like they used to. I mean, it used to be crazy. Good stuff, guys and gals. Great stuff. Good show. You know that my comments that I make, that's me. I'll have some updates throughout the weekend on my personal channel if you want to hop over there. We don't do these shows on the weekend, but we will certainly continue that 5-minute updates that I do. and we'll talk to you on Monday. Hopefully, talking about a series win, and they'll be in Baltimore. Great show. Thanks for the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Comments, likes, send over your comments, and follow me on social @the Radio Mike. Have a great weekend, everybody.